Hello, fur friends and Pokemon fans. Welcome to another Silver Stars live stream. Sorry, I'm half out of it today. I have a special guest with me today. This is Chloe.
Hi.
Perhaps many of you know her from some of my previous videos or even some of hers if you're subscribed to her.
Chloe got LB40. Come over to my channel.
So I am going to attempt to explain the lore of Pokemon Generation 1 today to my mom, who doesn't know that much about Pokemon. She knows a little bit, but not that much. Basically, the only thing she knows is that Pikachu's really popular, and he is actually the mascot.
Pikachu ate a banana.
Long story there. We're not going to go there. I was looped out of my mind one time, and she just said that, and I couldn't stop laughing. But anyway, let's get right into it.
Let's get clear. She doesn't do drugs.
No, I was on antidepressants at the time, but long story, we're not going to get into that. So, what all do you know besides Pikachu? Anything?
The turtle.
The turtle? The squirrel?
Not it. I don't know.
The little water turtle thing?
I know that you guys were really into it. I don't even know how you guys got introduced to it.
You bought me yellow when I was a kid.
Maybe because you wanted it, but I don't know who introduced you to it and how you got involved. I think we were living in Illinois at the time, weren't we?
Came out in... No, we were definitely living up here because me and Christian got into the card game, which we have a bunch of cards here. And we were kind of trading with our friends at Kid Stop up here.
So you must have gotten introduced when you were living with your dad then.
Yeah, maybe our older cousins knew about it. I don't remember how, but anyway. So prior to the events of the anime and the first generation coming out of Pokemon, there was this big conspiracy. The evil team, Team Rocket, was experimenting. I can't talk. Experimenting with
He's doing Mr. Guppy
the evil team,
Sorry,
Team Rocket,
Pokemon,
along with one of the Pokemon gym leaders, Blaine, and a few other researchers, were trying to clone the mythical Pokemon Mew. You have a card of Mew right here. That's this one. She is attempting to sell these. If you are interested, please comment below. So they were trying to clone Mew. And at first, they failed multiple times. A lot of people think that the failed clones were creating Ditto. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mew.
It's a holographic one.
And eventually, they did succeed in cloning Mew, and they called the clone Mewtwo, which I do have a card here. Give me a second. Where did I put you? Mewtwo.
Who's this guy?
That's Bulbasaur. We'll get to him in a minute. Sorry, I'm a little disorganized today.
All I basically know about Pokemon is that it came out of Japan.
That's very true. The original games in Japan were called Red and Green. When they came over to America, they changed green to blue for some reason. Nobody really knows why. At least as far as I know, I haven't heard the reason why, but here's the Mewtwo. No, I am not selling my cards. So, Mewtwo is a clone of Mew, and he is very mean. He attempted, or possibly did, kill people in the anime. He was a very vicious Pokemon.
Who created Pokemon?
I believe it was created by Junichi Masuda, who was inspired by his love of bug catching in Japan, which is something that a lot of Japanese children can't really do anymore because of the urbanization. So he created the game as a substitute for that.
Where did he live? Do you know? Tokyo?
I think he lived...
That's the only city I know in Japan.
I think he lived in the Kanto region. Kanto is the name of the first region of Pokemon and an actual region in Japan.
Isn't Hiroshima also in Japan?
Hiroshima and
Nagasaki.
and like Kansai.
Not to get down on
Yeah, no, we're not.
this video.
Yep. So eventually they created the clone, and then you get into the main story. Now your character in the game starts out as a 10-year-old boy. It's always a boy in the first generation because they didn't do girls before. Yes. His name in the game, his default name is Red. In the anime, his name was Ash, but that's a different character.
Oh, okay. Now I kind of remember that one, yeah.
So, in the original games of Red and Blue, we'll talk about the American games rather than the Japanese ones because I've never played Green. In the original games, you go around trying to find Professor Oak, who is the researcher that gives you your first Pokemon, either Bulbasaur or Charmander or Squirtle, which I do have in here.
Charmander is another one that I know.
Charmander.
You should have maybe tagged people so that
Squirtle.
they could come in.
If I can, Squirtle, or I have a bunch of Charmander cards.
You should have tagged people.
Oh, it's fine. If they show up, they show up. It's not a big deal.
I mean, it is Saturday, people. Where are you all?
Charmander. If you're playing yellow version, you don't get a choice. You get Pikachu. And then later you can get all three of the starters. Your main goal in the games is to complete the Pokedex, all 151 Pokemon, which is impossible without a friend because there are version-exclusive Pokemon in each game, and you need to trade over each of the starters, which in the original games on the Game Boy Color, you would need 2 cartridges of different games and a link cable, which was like $10, but
no, I'm just looking at your.
Oh, so you start out. You pick your starter. I always went with the fire starters. Don't ask me why. I never understood why I was so fascinated with the fire starters. I just think they're really cute. They're not that helpful during the main story initially, but they're cute.
She's not a pyromaniac either.
No, I'm not a pyromaniac. But if you want the best experience for the initial run, I would go with Bulbasaur because he can single-handedly take out the first 2 gyms.
Are you really going to go through every single one of those cards?
Probably not, but, visual references in case I do.
Okay. Do we want to get to this person?
Gyarados, we'll get to him in a minute. Actually, we'll go with Beedrill first because you find him first. So, going through the main story, you get your starter, and then you go to the first town. I think it's Viridian City, but it might be a different town. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I actually played through Yellow. You go through, and you go to the Pokemart in the first town. Again, I think it's Viridian City. And you get a package for Professor Oak, which happens to be a set of Pokeballs for you and your rival, Blue. So you bring that back to him.
I'm sorry, when you say that word, that sounds inappropriate.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but no, it's just a catching device. That's what they call it.
I know what that is, but
I know.
When you say it sounds very inappropriate, especially in today's society.
There's like 5 different kinds of Pokeballs in the game. There's the basic Pokeball, then there's the Great Ball, the Ultra Ball. Oh no, I guess there's only 4. And then the Master Ball, which can catch anything. Really? Oh, good Lord. Anyway.
Thank God your brother's not here.
Oh, God. Sea-Dog would just tear this video up, wouldn't he?
He'd definitely make it more interesting, that's for sure.
So once you get your Pokeballs, then the professor gives you the Pokedex that you're supposed to fill out. Now, there is a glitch in the
Professor McGonagall?
No, Professor Oak. What? This isn't Harry Potter.
I'm trying to make it more entertaining.
Although I have been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy lately.
But we're talking about Pokemon.
Yes, we are. So Professor Oak gives you the Pokedex and he says, go out, catch a bunch of Pokemon, fill this out for me. While you're doing that, you also need to go through the gym challenge so that the Pokemon you catch will obey you. Otherwise, it's an absolute nightmare. So the first gym you come across is in Pewter City, and before you get there, I think you have to go through Viridian Forest, where you run into all sorts of like bug types, and eventually you do find a Pikachu in there somewhere. But funnily enough, in Red and Blue, it was practically impossible to find Pikachu, so they were initially gonna put Clefairy as the mascot. This guy here. But then the anime came out and Pikachu was such a big hit, they were like, nope, this one's our mascot.
So who was the very first Pokemon?
The first one designed, okay, a lot of people are like, okay, who was the actual first Pokemon? The first one they ever designed for the games
Pikachu?
No.
Oh, that's what I
was Rhydon. The first
Was it a
Pokemon
horse?
it's a rhinoceros. I have a card.
I just think Rhydon.
I have a card of that one. The initial first Pokemon in the Pokedex was Bulbasaur. That's what got here. But they say the first actual Pokemon that was ever created was Bulbasaur. Oh. We're fun here.
Trying to be, even though I'm half asleep.
I have Rhydon in here somewhere.
My videos are usually a lot more entertaining than this.
Yeah, we're a little unprepared today, but it's fine. Where did I put him?
Well,
He's
while
in here
she's-
somewhere. Anyway, he was actually the evolution of a different Pokemon whose card I apparently don't have, even though I thought I did. Rhyhorn.
Maybe it's in one of those other stacks way over.
Oh no, I went through every single card before you came over today. Huh?
Oh, somebody's here.
Fox Place. Oh hey,
Who is that?
that's Desmond. Hey Desmond, how's it
Oh,
going?
hey.
So how bummed Gen Z to wait or about Pokemon? Oh my bad. So I coming to make that joke. What? What? No, we're talking about Generation 1, not Pokemon ZA. Oh, Gen Z. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we don't talk about Gen Z. They're kind of dumb. Sorry, that's kind of mean, but
Not to try and take away from Silver Star's video here, but if you guys ever want to come over to my videos, Chloe got LB40. I do videos that are called Adventures with Chloe, and that's a series that I do where I go to different areas and talk about like the history and what you can see in these areas, these different places. And I've done a series called Presidential Highlights, and a lot of the things that I do on my channel are blogs as well. So anyway, that's just to kind of plug my channel a little bit. Anyway, back to Pokemon.
yes, back to Pokemon. So
Sorry.
they think that the first Pokemon that actually created all the others is called Arceus, or if you can see my shirt here,
You probably have to pull this down a little bit.
as M and JTV calls him, Arceus. There was a huge debate on how to actually pronounce this Pokemon's name. Originally, they were going to say Arceus, but then they realized that that's too close to the way the British say the word ass, and so they changed it.
I thought this came out of Japan.
Yeah, but
So
that
what
was
does the
the
British have to do
that
with
was
it?
the English localization team that did that.
Okay. Anyway,
Back
continuing.
we were traveling through Viridian Forest looking for bug types. We have Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill. Once you evolve Kakuna all the way up, or Weedle all the way up, again, this card is for sale.
This one's for sale. It's PSA graded an 8, and it is a holographic. And if you look on the picture itself has Japanese writing, I'm told. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it is in English.
Yep. So
I don't know how much this card would really be worth. I've been trying to research it, and I want to say that this one, I don't remember if it was this one or the other one that I have that was from a while ago.
Okay, later, Desmond.
Or that was a different generation apparently, which is a Japanese one. One of these cards I found online for a grade 10 was worth $9,000, over $9,000, which might be this one. The other one is a grade 10 would be worth over $44,000. Now, I'm not looking to make quite that much unless you're willing to pay that much, but I don't want to take less than a couple thousand for these if they're really that good. So,
Okay. Anyway, once we catch all
contact me.
Once we catch all the bug types that we can get, Caterpie, Weedle, various other types. In certain games, you can actually, on rare occasion, find a Bulbasaur in the forest, which is not easy to do. But there's a bunch of different Pokemon out there. There's once you're going through the main routes outside of the forest, you find either Rattata or Pidgey or Spearow. Pidgey is actually what fans call the regional bird of the region. Every region has a regional bird. Pidgey is the one for Generation 1. It evolves into Pidgeotto and eventually Pidgeot, or as the Pokemon Rap calls it, Pidgeot. But a lot of people think that sounds too close to fidget spinner, so they just call it Pidgeot.
Okay. If anybody's interested in buying any of my cards, go to my Facebook page that looks like this. There's a lot of Chloe Murphys out there, so that's what my page looks like.
Anywho, then we get to Pewter City. And hopefully somewhere along the way we've run across either a Mankey or one of the Nidorans, although in the first game that's not that easy.
And you say you can't come up with ideas for your book?
Huh?
I mean, you're saying all these weird names. I'm like,
those are names from the game.
I know, but I'm saying if you say that you can't come up with ideas for your book,
I have ideas for my book. I just need the actual software to write it. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. You can, in Pewter City, pay 50 Poké Dollars to go and get into the museum. It doesn't really do anything. It just kind of walks you around.
You get money?
Yeah.
Like game money or
game
real
money?
Oh, okay.
Game money. That's how you get items. Because you need items, especially in the first gym, if you did not pick Bulbasaur, like I didn't.
Idiot when it comes to Pokemon.
So, items that are always good to have are the various catching implements. We'll just call them that. The potions, the different kinds of potions, regular potion, super potion, hyper potion, and max potion. I think max potion was available in Gen 1. I can't remember, but and then revives and max revives. You can't get ethers at the mart, but you can find them in the wild, just kind of sitting around.
I'm trying to decide if I really want to do that since I'm in that for my real name. You invited this one into your Facebook page? This is my Chloe Murphy page.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't care. I just kind of
joined with both names. Anyway, back to Pokemon.
Anyway, yeah. So, once you get all the Pokemon
Sorry,
that
I
you can
keep
get,
distracting her.
Once you get all the Pokemon you can get, you go and face the gym. There is one trainer in the gym who says that you are 10,000 light years from facing Brock. He thinks that light years means time instead of distance because he's not smart. He's a child. Okay. So you beat him, and then you face Brock, and Brock has two pretty powerful Pokemon. I mean, his Geodude is kind of a pushover, but his Onix is infamous. That's for Grandma. She couldn't fit it in her suitcase. So, anyway, you face Brock, and hopefully you win. More often than not, you'll lose a couple of times before you can actually beat him. And then you're able to proceed on to Mount Moon. I think you have to go through Mount Moon. Like I said, it's been a while since I played the games. You're able to proceed through Mount Moon, catching more Pokemon along the way. You can actually get your own Geodude now, which if you want to fully evolve it, you actually have to trade to evolve it. There's several trade evolution Pokemon in these games, which is kind of annoying if you don't have friends that can trade with you. But eventually you'll get your own Geodude. You'll get Sandshrew, which is a cute little like shrew Pokemon that kind of looks like a little hut made out of bricks. You'll get Zubat. Zubat is actually really annoying in the game because no matter how many times you go through the caves, you always run into at least 5 of them, and they confuse you immediately.
Does Zubat have anything to do with trying to find a red panda at the San Diego Zoo?
No, it's a bat.
You'll have to watch my videos for that story.
It's a bat, and it evolves into a Pokemon called Golbat, which is not gold. They're both blue and purple. But they're very annoying.
The Japanese are very confusing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because a lot of people, when they get Psyduck eventually, which is one of the next gym leader's Pokemon in the anime, I don't think you actually face the Psyduck in the game. Her name is Misty. She's a water type gym leader. So if you have Pikachu, or if you caught like a grass type, you can beat her easy.
Oh, actually, going back to this card, this is what the back of it looks like.
Just like every other Pokemon card.
Not everyone. The other one that I have.
Well, most of the basic ones are like that. Anywho. Sorry. Gotta clear my throat real quick. We go in. We face Misty. Now, we could go up north first and face the trainers on Nugget Bridge and eventually get to the end of it where you have to face a member of Team Rocket. You beat them easily, and then you go talk to Bill, who accidentally turned himself into a Pokemon with one of his machines, and then he couldn't figure out how to reverse it, so he had to have you help him become a person again. And he is the one who created. He's the one who created the Pokemon storage box system. You can only carry 6 Pokemon on you
red
at
white
a time.
balls that look like a fishing bobber.
No, it's a computer.
Okay.
You can only carry 6 Pokemon on you at any given time.
So I've got a question.
Okay.
So we were talking about who created Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to that guy? Is he still around?
As far as I know, he is still alive. He's like in his late 60s or even 70s now. I don't actually know.
You should do your research on that.
A lot of these people know more than I do, but
well, for those of us that don't know that are maybe watching,
I know he's still around, because it would have been big news if he had died. Junichi Masuda.
Okay, do you know how to spell that?
No. And actually, funny story, real quick, side note, because this didn't come into play until later.
Hold on a second. Say the name again.
Junichi Masuda.
He is still alive.
I did say that.
Japanese video game composer, director, designer, producer, singer, programmer, and trombonist.
I didn't know he was a trombonist. Oh,
Best
hi, honey.
known for his work in the Pokemon franchise.
Hello. We're sitting here trying to explain Pokemon to Mom. It's going kind of well.
Oh, apparently he left Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Former managing director and one of the company's founding members has stepped down from the role to take up a new, far more senior position as the Pokemon Company's chief creative fellow. That was as of June 1st of 2022. Anyway, continue with your story.
So, funny thing about Masuda, this doesn't come into play until like Gen 4 when shiny hunting becomes a thing because shinies actually did not exist in Generation 1. They didn't get introduced until Gen 2. But there is a shiny hunting method based on his name, which is actually funny because the community came up with it and he didn't even know until somebody asked him in an interview.
Interesting.
About it. Basically, the Masuda method is when you get two different Pokemon from two different language games and breed them to try and hatch shiny Pokemon. It takes a long time. No, not like those. Shinies are different color Pokemon, not holographics.
So here's some more fun facts that I found about this guy that created it. Masuda was one of the original developers of the Pokemon series, beginning with Pokemon Red and Green. He was first hired to compose video game music, where his first game at Game Freak was Mendel Palace, a 1989 puzzle game for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Interesting. Something I didn't know. Seems we're all getting educated today.
That's what I do when I do my videos.
Anyway, eventually you beat Misty, and then you go through. Oh, my honey thought that was very interesting too. You go through Rock Tunnel, I think it is now.
That's who was the first one?
Right on. He was the first one created, but then Arceus was, according to lore, the one that created all the other Pokemon.
Well, according to this, it says Rhydon was the first designed Pokemon, though of course it underwent a couple of iterations. In fact, its original design would make it into the games as the Pokédoll that appears when using the substitute move.
Yep. There's also a bunch of statues all over the games that look like Rhydon. Anyway, you make your way through Rock Tunnel to go to Vermilion City, where you face Lieutenant Surge once you learn the TM cut. Because for some reason he has a tiny tree in front of his gym entrance. Nobody really figures out why, but you have to go through the SSN in order to get to him. And that's where you face your rival for the third time, because you face him for the second time when going to meet Bill. And you beat him thoroughly on the ship, and it's later thought that Rhydon is gone. Okay. Look at his comment.
So Rhydon is God? No.
No, he's not Pokegod either.
Okay, so some more history here. Pokemon electronic game series from Nintendo that debuted in Japan in February 1996 as Pokemon Green and Pokemon Red. I asked what was the first Pokemon, what was it? What was the first Pokemon game?
Now, when it came over to America, Green was changed to Blue.
The franchise later became widely popular in the United States and around the world.
Interesting side note, in Korea it was actually banned for the first couple of generations because there's a gambling establishment in the game, and gambling is illegal in Korea.
Interesting. What came first, the Pokemon anime or game? The franchise originated as a pair of role-playing games developed by Game Freak from an original concept by its founder, Satoshi Tajiri.
Toshi Tajiri. Okay.
Released on the Game Boy on February 27th, 1996, the games became sleeper hits. Doesn't sound very interesting. And were followed by manga series, a trading card game, and anime series and films.
You do know what a sleeper is, right?
Yeah, somebody who goes to sleep, like me.
No,
That's a sleeper.
that's not a sleeper. Someone who with a trigger phrase gets activated.
Okay.
So they're like a sleeper agent.
Okay. Can you catch all 151 Pokemon in yellow? There are a total of 151 Pokemon in the game, but you won't be able to get all of them without trading with other Pokemon players. Additionally, there are a few Pokemon that only evolve through trading. For more information on this, be sure to check out the trading section.
I actually know all of them.
And that's from IGN.com.
I actually know all of the ones that require trading in Gen 1.
151.
No, just the
I'm
trading
just trying to
ones.
bring history into this. For
Just the
people who don't
trading
know
ones.
anything about it.
Machoke into Machamp, Graveler into Golem, Haunter into Gengar, and I think there's one more. I forget what the last one is, but
Are we gonna get to
actually
this one?
with trading initially, because you only get one Eevee in the game and it has 3 different
Oh, I
evolutions.
remember that one too. Isn't that a sheep?
No, it's like a fox, rabbit, dog thing. I have a card.
Are we gonna get to this one?
Yes, one of Misty's Pokemon in the anime is actually a Gyarados. Hey, I found my Rhydon card.
Hey, that might be worth something. This is also a holographic. It's not graded. I've only got 2 Pokemon cards that are graded. So this one's also for sale. And the reason I'm selling mine is because obviously I'm not into Pokemon, but I started getting into somehow I was suggested.
Sandshrew I was talking about earlier.
Okay, I was suggested to watch these videos called Pawn Stars, not to be confused with something else. And
you said it.
Yeah. And so I decided to go to a local flea market and look for things that might be worth money that I could buy for cheap and sell for a lot more money. So I started buying these Pokemon cards. So these ones here and this is what the backs of them look like too. These ones here that are not graded are the first ones that I bought. I've got 5 of these. This is 2 of the 5. I've got the other ones over on the table there.
We'll get to those when we get to their generations.
I can still show them on this one, though, right?
Sure.
So these are I can't get them in the middle. So these are 2 of the 5 that I originally bought, thinking that I'd get a lot of money for them. Took them to a card shop in town here, and they weren't going to give me money for some of them because they came from a pack. And the other ones, they were only going to give me a couple bucks for it. I'm like, no, because I spent more than a couple bucks. Now, these ones I bought a couple weeks ago, and I'm planning on going back to that flea market to see if this guy is there again and see if I can maybe buy some more that have the graded thing on the top that I can sell those for a lot more money too.
Anyway, this is Eevee.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a sheep.
But it's not a sheep. It's like a fox, rabbit,
You're going to show it
dog,
to your people?
cat thing.
Show it to your people.
This one that nobody can quite figure out what the heck the animal actually is. Just kind of a generic animal. Just don't tell her about. Some have the weird Pokedex entry. Oh, we're not going over Pokedex entries, honey. No, the Pokedex entries are just.
I probably wouldn't be interested anyway.
Oh, they get like either gruesome or insane. So, anyway. So Eevee has 3 what the fans call evolutions in Generation 1. There's a total of 8 evolutions now. So the no, it was the Lycanroc.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, the little wolf thing. So the evolutions in Generation 1 are Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon. Thank you. Fire, water, and electric. The 3 offensive magic types, I guess. They're
No,
special
obviously
attackers.
she doesn't have hers in protection
No,
stuff.
I'm not planning on
So-
selling any of mine.
They probably aren't worth as much, but
I'm not planning on selling them anyway, so it's fine. But
you can get a lot of money.
I have like 10,000 cards. I'm not selling them.
But what if you get them graded and you can get like tens of thousands of dollars? You could go debt free, and then you could buy our house and pay for your entire wedding. Which technically she's not actually engaged yet.
Evie, yes, honey, Evie.
So I know we're not talking about these people today, these characters today, but I just wanted to show you because I might not be part of your other videos.
Oh, I'm planning on having you be a part of all of them because I'm trying to explain it to you because you don't know much about Pokemon.
Okay, well, just in case other people don't watch these videos, the other videos. So I have 3 more cards that I want to sell. Okay, what generation does this one come from?
That one is Gen 7.
Okay, so I have this one.
Lycanroc, Dusk form. There are 3 different
That's how
forms
the
of
back of it
Lycanroc,
look.
but we will get back to
And
that
obviously
when
that
we
one's
get
not
to.
graded.
I actually want to buy that one myself. So
And then I've got
this one's
one.
Corviknight. This is from Gen 8, and that's actually the Gigantamax form of Corviknight.
And these are all holographic because I thought they'd be worth more money.
And this
I thought
one,
this one was pretty, so that's why I bought this.
Rainbow Dracozold. This one also from Gen 8.
That one looks like that on the back.
On the back of the back of the card, if you show that again, that is Ice Rider Calyrex with his Glastrous G.
So if anybody's interested in buying any of
that one's
these,
Shadow Rider.
please contact me through my Facebook page. And then this is the other one.
Gen 2. This is Typhlosion.
No, this is Japanese. This one's a Japanese one.
I'm saying it's from Gen 2.
Yeah, but I'm saying this one's in Japanese, and you can see it's graded. This one's graded
okay,
a 7.
It's no longer funny when you say that.
And that's what the back of that one looks like. Apparently, that's what they were originally called, was pocket monsters instead of Pokemon.
Yeah, they just kind of shortened it to Pokemon. Originally, they were actually going to call it Capsule Monsters, but that actually clashed with a Japanese anime where they had like Capsule Beasts or something. So for copyright reasons, they had to change it to Pokemon.
So most of these ones are like 2021. This one is 2000, and this one is 2016. So maybe this is the one that's worth more like the $45,000, and this one's maybe the $9,000 one.
I would think the older ones would be worth more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, my mistake. So yeah, this one's probably worth the $45,000 or $44,000. But
I'm told Japanese cards are rarer and
worth more.
Therefore worth more.
So if anybody wants to buy,
true.
especially these 2 that are graded, this one's a grade 8, this one's a grade 7.
I've claimed
PSA.
I've claimed Dusk form Lycanroc already. I just have to pay her for it. But
Please contact me, Chloe Murphy, Facebook,
anyway,
or through my YouTube channel, Chloe Got LB40.
so in both the anime and the game, Professor Lieutenant Surge, the 3rd gym leader, once you get past all the stuff on the SSN and you get the TM or the HM for cut.
Lieutenant means that they were in the military?
Yes, they call him the Lightning American.
I thought this started in Japan, so why would it be American?
Don't ask. Everybody's trying to figure that out. Nobody has a clue.
Okay.
Typhlosion was my favorite. The only starter that had any advantage over Chikorita and Feraligatr. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of Pokemon that had an advantage over Chikorita. And we'll go further into that in the next video for Gen 2. Yeah, Typhlosion. Typhlosion could learn the Elemental Punch for Thunder Punch. And therefore, he was actually the strongest of all 3 of the starters for Gen 2 because he could beat the type that he was weak to.
Okay.
But we'll get back to that when we go over Gen 2 next time, whenever we post the next video. Yeah, he was insanely powerful.
Okay.
So a lot of Pokemon in Generation 1 actually have dual typings, which means they have 2 different typings. You cannot have more than 2. The starter Bulbasaur is actually poison grass, but that is actually a detriment later in the game when you face Sabrina, the psychic
Wouldn't that
type
kill
gym
you?
leader. No,
Poison grass? That wouldn't kill you?
no,
Why?
because he's got powers over both.
I would think that eating poison grass would kill you.
He's weak to psychic.
I'm sorry, he's what?
He's weak to psychic type. There are 15 types.
What does psychic have anything to do with poison grass?
I was getting back to my point from before.
Okay.
There are 15 types in Generation 1. Let me see if I can remember them all.
How many generations are there?
Currently 9. And there are over 1,000 Pokemon, and I am not joking.
Please tell me we're not going through all 1,000 of them.
No.
Obviously not in this video. For sure.
No, that would take
That
me
would take like a year.
a month. Anyway, let me see if I can remember all the types for Generation 1. There's the 3, technically 4 starter types: electric, grass, fire, and water. Then there's poison, normal, ice, which is usually attached to a psychic, yes, you can have some. Ice, which is usually attached to a water type, psychic, flying, which is usually paired with normal, fighting, that's 10. What are the other 5 types? Ghost, which, interesting enough, in Gen 1 there was only one line of ghost type Pokemon, and they were also poison type. Did you drop one?
No, I heard
Oh.
my phone.
Okay. They were also poison type, which means they were weak to the psychic type that they were supposed to be good against, but there was a glitch in the first generation of games where the ghost type couldn't even touch the psychic type. So psychic was the type to have because basically nothing could beat it.
Psychic like Chris Fleming?
No, psychic like spoonbenders.
Okay.
Best way to put it, really. Then there was the dragon type, which there was only one line of dragon types, and it was also known as the pseudo-legendary of the game, which is also a fan-made term, not quite legendary, but just below it, and that was the Dragonite line. And then there was the legendary birds, which were Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno, and technically Mew and Mewtwo are mythical, but they're also classified as sub-legendary. It gets really confusing with the legendaries, honestly.
Is Pokemon still as popular today as it was when it first came out?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know that they had Pokemon Go.
I did
But
play
that
that
kind of-
until
I think
recently.
I don't think that's as popular anymore, is it?
Yeah, it kind of died out. I mean, they still have community days and everything, and I
You
still
mean
have.
after the person was arrested from trying to get
Oh no, that was a long time ago. That was
trying to get a Pokemon on Area 51?
That was during the summer of Pokemon Go craziness back in 2016.
When people were getting hit by cars because they weren't paying attention?
And that idiot tried to jump the fence to get a Mewtwo. What was he thinking?
He wasn't.
Oy.
People nowadays don't think.
Like seriously, Area 51, you can get arrested just for touching that fence, and he tried to jump it. Moron. Anywho.
So how many more cards are you going to show?
Probably a few. I was going to show the legendary birds, which a lot of people have been like, are they really legendary? Because there seems to be multiple of them because of the Galarian forms. Which
Does legendary mean like original?
No, legendary means that there's very few and they are extremely rare. The pseudo-legendary, Dragonite. If I can That's a goofy picture of him, but and then there's Zapdos. I got Zapdos right there. Articuno.
Might want to show those like a little bit longer. Oh, that's a holographic one. That might be worth money.
With my Zapdos and my Charizard. Eventually, you do get Charizard, but funny thing in Generation 1...
This one's also holographic.
That's what I just said.
You should get some of these graded to find out. How much
Funny thing is, in Gen 1, Charizard could not learn the HM Fly despite its large wings. I don't know why. That's Moltres.
You got a lot of them.
I have a lot of shinies too. I don't know where I got those, but
isn't shiny the same thing as holographic?
No.
What's the difference?
Here, hand me that second stack over there.
This one?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find her in here. Oh, we'll put that down there for a second. Sorry, bad camera work.
5 million cards.
Yeah, I have way too many cards. But they're fun. So I'm a collector. I don't actually play the TCG because I don't remember the rules. That's a shiny. It's a different color than its normal form.
That might be worth money.
So's this. Actually,
but
this
there's
one's
like no information on this card. Look at this. There's like no information on that card on the bottom.
I have a lot of shinies. But you
should
now.
Seriously get those graded, dude.
I'm not gonna sell them.
It doesn't matter. You could still, I mean, at some point they probably would be worth a lot of money, and then you could sell them and pay off your debt.
Anywho, once you get past Lieutenant Surge, then you go.
I know, I'm not greedy.
Then you go and find Celadon City, where you face Erica, the 4th gym leader. Because you can't get past a roadblock into Saffron City or Fuchsia City until you beat the gym leader in Celadon City. She is a grass type, which means if you have a fire type on your team, which I always did. Again, I went for the fire starter every single time. They're just too cute. And I turned into serious badasses. So I always had Charmander by that point. Or if I was playing a game where it was possible and I wouldn't have had the Firestone yet, but I would always get this cute little guy, Growlithe. He's my favorite. He's known as the puppy Pokemon. He's known as the puppy Pokemon.
I thought Pikachu was your favorite.
Pikachu's my favorite starter. He's my favorite for every other kind. Okay. Actually, Pikachu is kind of neck and neck with Fuecoco from Gen 9, but we'll get to him much later.
I'm just reading the comments.
Okay. Now he's got to go make some potato salad. Anywho, so another interesting tidbit from Gen 1 is that originally the Psychic and Ice type Pokemon Jinx, which now has a purple body as opposed to its original coloring, was actually I'll get to that in just a second here. Was actually the source of a racist controversy because its original body was black and it's got like big pink lips. So people accused the Pokemon Company of creating a Pokemon that resembled blackface actors.
Seriously, people, can we just like stop being offended by everything?
This was back in the 90s, Mom.
I know, but still.
So they changed the color to purple rather than the black that it normally is. But a lot of people don't use Jinx anyway because it looks too humanoid. It looks kind of like a really ridiculously overdone opera singer.
Okay.
So people don't really like Jinx anyway. A lot of people don't like Mr. Mime either because I actually did have that card in here somewhere. He looks too much, again, like a very thin and spindly. how my favorite PokeTuber, MNJTV, puts it. Human jester with very thin arms and legs, and as MNJTV puts it, he looks like he's just waiting outside with a knife to kill you. So yeah, here it is. Mr. Mime. Now, in the anime, he's got a fun little gag. He likes to make invisible walls because he's a jester.
He kind of
He's
looks
a mime.
like a vegetable.
A vegetable. Oh, I guess in that picture, yeah. But in the anime, Ash's mom, Delilah, actually had a Mr. Mime that was around the house that she called Mimey. Don't ask me why. But he liked to play pranks all the time, making invisible things and making people think that they were actually there. It was pretty funny. Or if you've ever seen Detective Pikachu, where he makes the invisible walls and Pikachu tries to leap at him and like actually slams into one of his reflect walls. It is pretty funny. And he likes to sweep. Yes, he likes to sweep. In the anime, anyway. I don't know if he's ever actually done that in the movies, but I guess he kind of did in Pokemon the first movie. Anyway, once you get past Erica in Celadon City, and you go into like the condos or something, and you get some tea for the guarding Saffron into Fuchsia City. You can either go through Fuchsia and defeat Koga first, who's the poison type gym leader, or you can go and face Sabrina, the psychic gym leader. I recommend facing her at level 50 because her Alakazam is insanely powerful and fast. Nobody really likes to face her without really high level Pokemon. Koga can have some really frustrating, like, protect poison stall strategies, but as long as you have antidotes with you, you can actually get past him pretty easy. Especially if you've managed to catch an Abra, which is not that easy to do because they like to flee immediately. So you throw a Pokeball or you don't catch it. You can't even try to trap it because it flees immediately.
Okay.
Those ones are like insanely hard to catch. But eventually, he was the other one that was the trade Evo. You have to trade a Kadabra to get an Alakazam.
Isn't Alakazam like the name of a magician?
No, it's the funny word they say when they're doing their magic tricks. Abracadabra, Alakazam.
Yeah, but I thought Alakazam was the name of an actual magician.
You beat Sabrina at 35? How? Her highest level Pokemon is higher than level 35, no matter what game you play. How did you beat her at 35? It's like trying to beat Whitney without a freaking Machop. We'll get to Whitney in the next video. So anyway, once you beat Koga and Sabrina, then you have to do some story stuff by beating Team Rocket in Saffron City, who's taken over the headquarters of Silphco, who actually created the Pokeballs, and they're creating the Master Ball, and Giovanni wants it. So you kick them out of the building, and you defeat tons of revives and tons of... Yeah, that sounds about right. You defeat Giovanni at the very top, and then you get the Master Ball. Now you can either, at some point during this, you can go get Zapdos at the power plant near Cerulean City, where you beat Misty before. You couldn't get there before because you needed the H Emperor Surf, which I think you get after Erica, if I remember correctly. You needed to progress in the game. I know that because once you get surf, then you go to Cinnabar Island, which actually has a volcano on it. And interesting little side note, the volcano on Cinnabar Island or near it, at some point between generations 1 and 2, which are 3 years apart in game lore, explodes. And so when you have to face Blaine again in Gen 2 as a post-game gym leader before you can get to the final area, you actually, what, in Yellow, Jesse and James were there, and yeah, well, yeah, Yellow's based on the anime. So yeah, they were there. Anyway, once you beat Blaine, who's the fire type gym leader, then you go and you've actually beat Team Rocket like 3 times at this point. So then you go and you face Giovanni in Viridian City again. You fly back to Viridian City on your Pidgeot. Or
I just pick up on different words, and I'm like, what?
I told you about Pidgeot.
Okay.
Pidgeot or Zapdos or
I thought you said Pidgeot. I'm like,
Pidgeot. Pidgeot or Zapdos or Articuno if you went to the Seafoam Islands and went to the deepest cave to get it. You can't get Moltres until you get to the Victory Road, which you have to beat Giovanni for. Giovanni is the ground type gym leader. If you have a flying type and you have a quick claw on you, which you can get in the later generations, I don't think it was actually introduced until Generation 2. But if you have a flying type on your team and you're faster than him, you can actually beat him without damage because flying types are immune to ground.
So
he has some rock moves.
What is the purpose of this whole game? Just to get all of them?
To get all of them and to become the champion of the Pokemon League.
Has anybody ever done that?
Tons of people. That's why we play the game.
Okay, why don't you talk about the most expensive Pokemon card that was ever bought and who bought it?
Was that the Pikachu card that was bought by that wrestler guy whose name I forgot?
I'll have to look it up because I forgot too.
Apparently there was some like super stupid rare Pokemon card. What? Why? Okay, whatever. Apparently there was some stupid rare Pikachu card that some wrestler bought for like $5 million or something. What? You thought the island sank? It's clearly stated by Blue in Gen 2 that the volcano exploded and destroyed the town.
No need to be aggressive like that.
Anyway, once you beat Giovanni, then you can go to the Pokemon League. And in the first couple generations, the Pokemon League's order is predetermined. In later generations, you can choose to fight whichever ones you want in whatever order. So the first person you face in the Pokemon League in Generation 1, I believe, is Lorelei, who's an ice type, but like all of her Pokemon are also water type. So if you have an electric type like Zapdos, you can sweep her easily.
Logan Paul.
Okay, Logan Paul bought like a $5 million Pikachu card or something.
A truly one-of-a-kind card. The Population 1 PSA 10 Illustrator Pikachu was bought by YouTube influencer Logan Paul in 2022 at a valuation of $5.275 million, making it the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold. More specifically, he paid $4 million in cash, plus a PSA 9 Illustrator Pikachu he previously owned.
Yeah,
Let's see if there's images of this card.
Anyway, You face Lorelei first, and then I think you face. I want to say Will is next. Who's the? Is he also psychic or is he ghost? I forget. Yeah, that insane card. And
That's
it's
Logan
Japanese.
Paul.
See, the Japanese cards are worth way more. And then you face Bertha. I can't remember what Will's specialty was. It might have been. Was he Bug?
What does it mean when it's this illustrator?
I have no idea. Like I said, I don't know that much about the card game. I collect them.
This is
I have like 5,000 Pokemon cards, but
I wonder if NM means non-mint.
probably.
Non-mint to mint, maybe. Maybe that's why this one is probably worth $45,000. 44,000. Because it says NM/MT, and that's the 8.
I don't know, but Zapdos. What about Zapdos, honey? Yeah, Zapdos is powerful. He's actually the strongest of the 3 legendary birds because he is
where is
immune
the
to electric.
end of the first generation of Pokemon?
What do you mean?
What's the ultimate?
Once you become champion, everything's basically over unless you miss some Pokemon and you just go back and catch them.
So then why do they have all these other generations? Do they just like make new ones and that's just a new generation, or
They make new ones and new challenges, and past Gen 2 Team Rocket isn't a thing, so now you have other evil teams to contend with, like in Generation 5, where the evil team leader Getsis just wants to destroy the entire world so that only he is left because he's very, very evil.
So do they know if there's ever going to be an end to this Pokemon thing?
Eventually, everything ends, but it's so popular now that they are just like grinding out as much as they can.
But your boyfriend said that Magic is more popular than Pokemon.
That may be true, but Pokemon is by no means a small niche market.
Is Magic like a next level of Pokemon, or is it completely different?
Magic is an entirely different thing. It's kind of like D&D.
Maybe Wolf can explain that in the comments. What's the
I
difference?
probably have about
What's the
2,000
difference
Magic
between
cards.
Pokemon and Magic?
I feel like Magic is
Are they
more
two
like
different games?
Yeah, they're two completely
Very
different games.
Okay.
They're completely different. As far as I can tell, Magic is closer to Dungeons and Dragons than it is to Pokemon. I've never actually
know about that much about D&D because my friends
I've
played
never
it when I was in
actually
high school.
played Magic or Dungeons and Dragons, but Magic seems closer to Dungeons and Dragons than it is to Pokemon. I don't know if that's true.
But is Magic more popular than Pokemon?
You should know why I like Zapdos. Because it literally is immune to the type that would actually kill it.
Major Feywolf, what's more popular, Pokemon or Magic?
Or at least resistant to the type that it... I mean, Zapdos is insanely powerful. So, yeah. I mean, it's still weak to rock, but... Oh, that was rock and ground are two of the other types that I forgot to cover. And then Bug.
It doesn't show that he's watching, but he's commenting.
I know, it doesn't make any sense. This thing is dumb. But, yeah, so that's basically the synopsis. Once you face the champion, which is actually... Oh, no, you know what? It's Bertha, then... No, is it Will, then Bertha, then Lance? Bertha is supposedly the ghost-type champion or Elite Four member, but her entire team is poison type, so everybody's like, no, she's a poison type specialist. Lance is known as the Dragon Master, and in Generation 2, his cousin Claire is the self-proclaimed best Dragon Master out there, and is the 8th gym leader, but she's never been able to beat Lance.
So if Pokemon is so popular, do they have conferences for these?
Oh yeah, they have world championships and everything.
No, not championships like gaming, but like conferences, like when I go to Paracons or you go to these furry conferences? Do they have?
They're kind of
things like
hand in
that?
hand with Anime Con.
Do the
like
people
Comic-Con.
dress up like the characters?
Some of the furries dress up like them.
But I mean, okay,
At
I
the
don't think you're
at the
understanding what I'm
at the
asking.
cons, some of the furries dress up like
Okay, but
like
that's
I've
at a
seen.
furry conference. I'm talking about a Pokemon conference.
Not as far as I know. As far as I know, they're more directly linked with Comic-Con. They don't have one specific
that would make
to.
sense.
They don't have one, as far as I know, specific to Pokemon. They're more linked with Comic-Con. But yes, a lot of people dress up like furries. Like Lucario and Infernape and Pikachu are really popular at the furry conventions.
What does that say?
It's pretty much about the same for popularity. So they're hand in hand? Okay. They're like neck and neck with the popularity there.
Okay, Jaffe Wolf, when did Magic start?
And you should know it's my favorite. I told you many times, honey. Yeah, it's an insanely powerful Pokemon. I get it.
When did Magic start?
Yeah, I actually don't know.
I'm sure if I were to like look that up, it would talk about like magic tricks.
Yeah. You would
I
have
guess
to
I could
specify.
put magic playing card game.
You
or
would have to
something.
specify Magic the Gathering, which is the full
Magic
name of
the
it.
Gathering?
Yeah.
Let's see. You're very, very knowledgeable about this stuff because you've been. When did you start playing this?
When Yellow came out in like '98.
You weren't that old.
Yeah, I have
You were
not
like
stopped
7 or
playing
8
it
years old.
ever. Okay, my sister stopped, my brother stopped. I didn't stop. I've played every generation of Pokemon. Even some of the spin-off games. I started playing Pokemon Ranger. I have not gotten very far in Pokemon Ranger, but I played the entirety basically, except for like the very end of Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is why I'm very excited for Pokemon Legends ZA. Guys, Megas are back. A lot of people were like, "Bring the Megas back! Bring the Megas back!" And they just
Apparently,
kept coming
Magic
up with
the
new
Gathering
gimmicks.
was before Pokemon. If you're saying Pokemon started in '98.
Oh,
Magic
you
the
said that
Gathering
Pokemon started in '96, but I didn't
was
start playing
released.
until
Well,
2
this
years
is even
later.
before that. Was released to the public on August 5th, 1993, and had an initial print run of 2.6 million cards. The game was invented by Richard Garfield, mathematics PhD candidate, who incorporated games into his undergraduate courses.
Well, okay then. I didn't know it was around that long. I thought it was way more recent, but I guess I'm wrong. I know there was this whole debate.
Gen Con, what is that?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
It says Magic the Gathering underwent a general release on August 5th, 1993. After shipping the orders, Atkinson
Mid-90s.
and his wife drove towards Milwaukee while making stops at game stores and demonstrate the game to drum up support for Gen Con.
It must be some sort of convention that they were trying to do. I have no idea.
The very first Magic cards ever produced were playtest cards that Richard used privately to determine the proper gameplay. Once he felt that he had a suitable selection of cards, he created a hand-drawn 120-card deck
Yeah, Mom's reading
known
all that
as the Alpha playtest cards.
Yeah, alpha cards are actually extremely rare now and valuable. Right, honey? The alpha, what was it, Black Lotus is worth like $50,000 or something.
But we're getting away from Pokemon.
Yes, we kind of are, but discussing Pokemon and never stop, keep playing. Yes, absolutely. Replay value on this is insane because you can craft your team any way you like, and you can do like different challenges and like what they call Nuzlocks, where if you lose a Pokemon, it's effectively dead, and you either have to release it or box it, and you can never use it again.
I'm sorry, how much did you say the Black Lotus went for?
I wasn't actually sure. I said something like the Alpha Black Lotus specifically. I said it was like 50,000. I don't know if that's right.
An Alpha Black Lotus graded by CGC Cards just fetched a jaw-dropping $3 million,
Okay, I was way off.
making it the highest priced Magic the Gathering card ever sold. The transaction went down in a private sale between Adam Kai of Pristine Collectibles and a mystery buyer, shattering previous records. That was as of May 6, 2024.
So just a couple months ago. Wow.
But still not more than that one that Logan Paul bought.
Anywho, but yes, when the enhanced version, Yellow, which is the one I played, was released, it was actually based on the anime because the anime was so popular they wanted to make a game based off of it.
Didn't they have comics, like comic books?
Manga, yeah.
Is that based off of these?
The manga's kind of its own universe.
But you read it backwards.
Yeah, because it's Japanese.
So you start at the back of the book and you read it. You go from left to right instead of right to left.
Yeah.
Or no, right to left instead of left to right. Yeah.
However we read, it's backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah,
how popular Pokemon is in Japan.
They have
maybe they
shops,
have conferences for it.
They have shops out there called Pokemon Centers, which is where you heal your Pokemon in the game. But the shops hold all kinds of $160,000. What? You talking about the Black Lotus, honey? Okay. Anyway.
You're talking about Pokemon shops?
Yeah. They have like super rare stuff over in Japan.
Buy it there, bring it back here, and sell it for millions of dollars to Logan Paul.
a lot of Pokemon YouTubers, or Poketubers as we call ourselves, have gone over to Japan and actually gone to these stores and purchased like insanely rare stuff. Because
that's pretty expensive.
Well, considering the fact that my favorite Poketuber has 2 million subscribers, he can afford it.
Is that this person?
Yes.
Your shirt? I mean, the trip alone is expensive to fly from here to Japan.
But you could even do it through this website that they talk about. I forget the name of it. Can't remember the name of it, but like they bid for you, and then you pay them the amount that it would be, and they like transfer to what? That's ridiculous. Well, honey, I mean, when you're going for the rare, you may as well go all out, right?
If anybody else is watching us that doesn't happen to show up on here, please comment and let us know who you are.
I think Logan Paul's ripped off on that. What, you think that was worth more? That card that Mom was talking about, the Illustrator Pikachu?
$5 million? That's not a ripoff.
Yeah, no. Or you think it wasn't worth that much and you think that Logan paid too much? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's his money. He can do with it what he wants, I guess. Personally, I would rather see that money go to the homeless, but...
I guess he's got enough to spare. I don't even know really who he is.
Maybe PewDiePie should buy some Pokemon cards and sell them.
PewDiePie's overblown, and honestly, I don't think
he's not into Pokemon though, right? He plays video games, but not Pokemon, right?
I don't know. I've never actually watched PewDiePie. From what I understand, he's just as annoying as Markiplier.
I don't know who that is, but like I watched a couple minutes of his video just to see what it was all about, and I'm like, this is boring. I mean, that's just me. I'm sure that maybe your generation finds him interesting, and
a lot of
that's
people
why he's the number one YouTuber. But
a lot of people do like gameplay videos, which is why eventually I'm gonna get the setup to actually do like gameplay videos on this channel. I don't have the money for it right now, but
I watch. Well, don't answer this question. I'm doing a bit.
Okay.
Why would you watch something that you could be doing? I don't know, Dad. Why do you watch football on Sundays? Why don't you go out there and play? We're quoting Fluffy.
Mm-hmm. You think he paid too much, or you think,
I was referring
to that
Pikachu.
He'd probably buy it from him. What? Buy what
He'd
from
probably
me?
buy from you. If you go over there and or maybe he'd buy these cards for me from me. It'd be nice if he'd give me top dollar for those things.
Like, here, these are worth like this much money. I'm asking for that much money. My daughter's getting
You should
married.
seriously see if you could get those like graded. Or
Most of
something.
these, because they're from packs, are not worth anything.
Yeah, but those holographic ones, although you have been touching them and
Yeah,
the sides might, the corners might be a little damaged and they probably wouldn't be worth much.
yeah.
But if you
I'm not selling my card.
package them and keep them clean
Anyway,
and
I
stuff.
think that we have reached the end of this video. I think this has gone on long enough. An hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, so to
So
replug my channel, come over to see me at Chloe got LB40. I might change the name of my channel to Chloe Murphy, but
well, all right.
maybe. But
Well-
Adventures with Chloe, presidential highlights videos.
What are you going to take away from this experience?
That I'm still not that interested. Although I did learn a little bit of the history that I looked up for you.
Yeah. So, do you think that other people who might be interested but don't know a whole lot would watch
They would probably
stuff like this?
they would probably take away from it. Take some stuff away from it and think, oh, that might be interesting. Let me look into that.
Yeah.
You just got to do your history and your research
Yeah.
and then take notes. And then the next time you're not like, oh, let me look through this one. Look at,
Like,
you'll
I
have
had
the
them all
cards
set
in-
out, but like I wasn't sure which order I was going to introduce them in.
Yeah. So show the
So,
original one again.
something that I didn't really go over in this one was the
Wasn't that in your
fossil Pokemon. No, it's in this
Oh,
one.
it's in this one.
Was the
So
fossil
which one?
Pokemon like Kabuto here?
Okay.
So this was the
How come some of
original,
them don't have as much writing on the bottom as the other ones do?
because some of them have like with this one, it's resistant to electric. Actually, in the game, it's immune because.
So
it's,
what makes these cards? What do you look for on these cards to make them rare?
I have
like,
no
if you-
idea.
Isn't it like a star or something in the bottom
Oh
corner?
yeah,
Teeny,
there's like
teeny
a
star?
rare there's like a symbol in the bottom here. Like this one is I think a diamond, so I think that one's actually like uncommon. PewDiePie's extremely annoying. Yeah, I don't know if many people still watch him. But like with this, oh wow. This Mr. Mime is apparently rare. There's a little star in the bottom here. Where is it? There. Nope, there. Kind of next to that little hourglass looking symbol. And evidently, that is a rare card. So this is Jolteon. Huh, interesting. Jolteon and Vaporeon are, but apparently
Do you
Flareon is
even
common.
play the game with these cards, or do you just like let them collect dust? You personally?
I actually went over that in the video.
Oh, did you?
I said I collect, but I don't play the game because I can't remember the rules and I don't have the board or the little
Well, you
pieces
could look
that
it
you're
up on
supposed to put on.
the internet or whatever. But like,
There's like
what's
little
the point of
markers that
what's
you.
the point of holding on to them if you're not going to number one sell them or number two play them?
It's just something fun, you know. Like some people collect rocks, some people collect jewelry. I collect Pokemon cards
Wells Fargo ponies.
or Wells Fargo ponies. Thank you. Okay, I said something wrong on Google Chat. I thought I said pizza the most expensive pizza was 12,000. Completely random. What? Okay. Anyway, we're gonna end it there. Hopefully, you guys learned a little something. If you didn't, then I guess you know more than me. If you did, then great. Please,
Leave your comments below.
leave comments, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell for notifications if you haven't already.
Electrify that.
Yeah, there we go. Electrify.
Electrify the button. Subscribe to her, please.
Yes, please. I need more subscribers. I know you guys are all gonna laugh at this, but I only have 69 right now. All right. Anyway, we're going to cut it there. You all shine bright, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.